So if I were to make Okiochir a level 20 character, you'll see that it will magically increase his +2 to a +6. But if he starts at the same level you guys are, which is to say level 2, it will be a +2. This is representative of your character's experience in doing the things that they're good at. So, Okiochir is good at intimidating people. So he gets to add his proficiency bonus. So he gets a +2. Simple as that. The buttons themselves have this all built in. I just want to educate you guys as to what goes into the roll. So that's where the proficiency bonus comes in. If he weren't proficient in it, so if I were to take off the check mark, you notice it's just a +2 instead of a +4. Where does that other +2 come from? It comes from the stat next to, listed in light gray, next to the name of the skill. It comes from his charisma. So even if Okiochir isn't trained in intimidating people, he just has a natural presence and carry to him that might make him a bit more intimidating than, say, the halfling over there that has a 5 charisma and he smells and no one was going to respect him. He's a drunk. He has a -3 charisma. Okiochir has some carry to him, some presence. So he has naturally a +2, but then he becomes trained in it. He talks to an information dealer, and the information dealer gives him a book that says How to Intimidate People 101. He reads it, and then he knows how to intimidate people. What is your question?
So I'm just looking at, because I'm a bard, under proficiencies, I can just choose any 3 skills.
Any 3, correct.
Okay, so I can just click whatever makes sense.
Whatever you so desire, you will be getting more skills from your background, as well as some races give skills as well.
Okay, so then should I wait?
I'd say hold off on it because your background will give a specific subset of skills.
Okay.
And if you pick the same skill twice, it doesn't double up. It's just redundant at that point, right? So I say wait until you do the background first.
Okay. And one more question. So I got rerolled 17. So I'm going to put the reroll in intelligence, which gives me +3, which means I get to choose 3 extra languages.
Correct. Okay. You don't have to fill out the whole damn list. You don't have to. But it's up to you.
Yeah, I was just curious.
So this is what goes into a roll. So boom. Nice! I can see Okiochir isn't long for the world of these rolls. He rolled a 1 and a 4. That's pretty trash. So yeah. Those are where your stats are going. And this D&D is contrary to other systems like, say, Blades in the Dark and whatever, all those other ones. D&D is a bottom-up system, which is to say we start at level 1 and craft all the way up to the top. So just pretend as if you're making a level 1 character at the moment, not a level 2. Because making a level 2 is based upon being level 1. Versus Blades in the Dark, where you can just start grabbing shit. Because there are no levels in Blades in the Dark. Weird book. Interesting system, though. Speed is determined by your race, which it should be basically 30 outside of certain other clauses, like being short or being an elf, a wood elf in particular.
Would Tabaxi have anything extra?
I believe theirs is 30.
They got 30-foot climb speed as well, I think.
They have a 30-foot climb speed, that is also true. They also have feline agility.
Speed. Yeah.
They can also double their movement speed for being a runaway.
Oh no, it's 20-foot climb.
20-foot climb? Yeah. It's 5 feet better than climbing normally. Yeah, better than nothing, I guess. So, stats completed. Triangle move them around to where you see fit. Yes, it has to be 3 numbers. You can't only pick 2. Unless you have 2 numbers which are the same, in which case then it's the same as picking 2, but that's besides the point.
Do you want us to throw them in chat, or do you just want to mark them down in our sheet somewhere?
Mark it down in your sheet somewhere. Or if some of you already private message me, that will suffice as well. I won't redundant do it.
Alright, say that again, it cut you off.
If you guys are triangle stat moving them around, so we'll say for Okiochir, he wants the 15 in intelligence to go to Dex. He would thusly move the 15 in int, or that's 14, I can't type. 15 in int to somewhere else. He'll move it to his Dex. Okay, where's his Dex go? It's a 12, right? So where's that go? well, we gotta move it somewhere else because it's triangle.
Okay.
He's okay with not being charismatic, so he moves it to charisma. And thusly, the 14 charisma goes back to where the intelligence has an open slot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Should we write it down, like mention it? Discord.
You very much should. Message it to me somewhere.
and that's only if we're moving it around. I don't have to do that for the reroll that I did.
Only, yeah, correct. You can put the reroll anywhere.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I'll be able to. I'll be able to reverse engineer your stats just by seeing it.
Okay.
Well, it's just good to know where you guys move numbers around and such. You guys will have a party NPC, although with 7 people, they're probably going to be a bit more on the quieter side. Versus what's a
That's what we roll
number
the stats
of
for,
you are
just so.
familiar with when we only had 4 people, where you had more outgoing NPCs to fill the quiet, so to speak.
Mhm.
Oh wait, I just realized. Hmm.
Yeah, I was just writing it down.
Roger. Just making sure you have it noted. Let's see. So speed is determined by your race, although your class may affect it at times. Your health is sort of up to you. First level, you get maximum on your class's hit die. Some classes have bigger hit die, some classes have smaller ones. Basically, are you a frontline fighter, like a barbarian would be, or are you one of the squishy people in the back, like a wizard would be? You'll get maximum on your hit die plus your con mod for first level, automatically. There's no going around it. So you actually can't possibly die from having a negative con mod at first level. Literally impossible. Second level is up to you guys. At second level, you guys can take the median for whatever your class is. Your hit dice is, rather. So on a D6, it would be a 4. On the D8, it would be a 5, and so on. The middle number. Plus your con mod. Or you can roll for it. I do let everyone reroll ones on their hit dice once. If you roll another one, you got shit luck and you're shit out of luck. So that's the catch. Do you gamble for going higher highs, even though you might risk lower lows, or are you a coward and you go the average? There's nothing wrong with cowards. They survive. Sometimes. And then that will be the trend for every level thereafter. So first level will always be max. Second level will always be your choice of taking the average or rolling for it. It's probably not much of a big point at second level, but if you guys multi-class, the first level in your multi-class also will be maxed out.
How to maximize your health, multi-class every single level.
Yep, and then you have no class features, and then you're really trash at doing everything.
Yeah, but you got respectable amount of health.
Yep.
That will very quickly go away.
Yep. Health is one of the most fluid things in D&D. No, it's better
So
to
are potions.
prioritize things like, I don't know, AC to not get hit in the first place. Lapse in
have the
uncanny
capability.
dodge, just dodge half the damage anyways.
Or have the ability to give yourself temp HP, or gain temp HP for someone.
Yep.
So once you guys finish out your class features, all of you can take it at your own speeds. If anyone has any questions, just let me know. If you guys have questions about your class features, let me know. But whenever you guys finish that, just let me know when, so we can do your equipment. Because equipment will be a bit different.
I was reading my character sheet for High Elf, and it mentioned the ability score increases by 2. Where do I... the dexterity score, where would I place that?
Well, you just increase the number by 2. Just add it on to the actual stat. Also, something to note, Dorky, the reroll can go anywhere for free. Like, that's not even included in this triangular rubric. The reroll just goes anywhere for free. It's not another stat that you can... It's not like playing poker and it's another card you can put into your hand. You just get it. It re-rolls one of the previous stats that you rolled.
Monkey.
I mean, you laugh up until the Monkey King shows up and kicks your ass.
Yeah.
Oh,
Also
God,
eating
he's
your
really-
face.
I mean, that checks out, but...
Yeah.
Nice build. Very nice.
So for elves and the racial modifiers, for races that have sub-races in general, you get not only your sub-race's benefits, but also the main race's benefits. Keep that in mind. So let me go to the elf section here. So as an elf, your dexterity score, that's the big number. Not the big number as in it's physically bigger, the big number as in it's numerically bigger, would increase by 2. So if our boy Okioch here wanted to be a high elf, I guess it'd be elf, subrace, high elf. There you go. His dex would increase from 12 to 14. Just like that. No catcher clause to it. So that's just for being an elf. For being a high elf, his intelligence score increases also by 1. So the 15 he has becomes a 16. Just like that.
Okay.
That's literally it. If your race gives you dark vision, you don't get it in this game. You get a dark vision replacement feat, which can be found in Xanathar's in the racial feat section. If you're playing a race that has dark vision but isn't listed in Xanathar's as a racial feat thing, let me know and I'll give you some options.
Okay.
I think really only a couple of you are gonna need that offer, but it's there nonetheless.
Okay, so under ability scores, it says Dex +2, Charisma +1, so I just add those to the rolls that I did.
The sheet will automatically calculate that for the most part, but if I were to tell you to do an independent roll, so like, let's say, I don't know how you would finagle this, but if you wanted to go history, like a history skill roll, and I tell you to use your dex, I have no clue how that would work, but I don't know, never say never. Indiana Jones, I guess, is an example of that. I want you to know how the math works, right? So if you know that you're not proficient in history, then you have to know when I say history dex, I'm just telling you to roll a dex check.
Okay.
But if you were proficient in history, so we'll say Okioch here is a proficient in history, I want you to know the math that goes into it, which is what I was describing earlier. So the math would thusly be 1d20, because not every, but the roll for this would be a d20. That's a dice it uses. Plus your proficiency bonus, which we know what it is on the top left of your sheet, evidenced by your level. Plus the stat I just told you. History dex is not the same as history charisma, nor is it the same as history intelligence if those are all different numbers. So, for our boy Okioch here, if I told him to roll a history dex check, he'd be rolling a d20 plus 4. 2 plus 2 makes 4, and then the d20 roll adds on top of it. So keeping that in mind when I'm telling you this sort of stuff.
My question is so I'm Tabaxi, so I'm just looking at it right now, and it says ability scores Dex +2, Charisma +1.
So you just add that to your ability score. So your ability score is the number of the small circle.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. after the rules, what am I supposed to be working on now?
So you have your stat block figured out. Correct?
Yeah, that's all the plus ones and whatnot.
You have applied your racial bonuses. You have recorded all your racial features.
Not
So
the
it's
racial
gonna
features. No, I haven't done yet.
Then I would get on that next.
Okay.
Before your character is any class, your character was at least their race.
Yeah.
I would hope. That would be a bit weird if it went the other way around, and I think the provinces want to capture you for some sort of lab testing. Actually, no. Knowing the provinces, they probably just blast you for being some sort of shapeshifter.
So you said we don't get dark vision, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Does Tabaxi have dark vision?
Yeah.
Oh, who died?
That would be O. Welcome back, O.
Unless you get like a subclass like Gloomstalker Ranger that gives you dark vision.
Yes, that is correct, but let us focus upon the racials.
So for the features and traits, that's where I put it, right?
You can put them technically anywhere. The thing is, it is upon you guys to remember you guys have this stuff. So put it somewhere. You can put in the features and traits if you so damn choose. It's on the front of the page, so definitely be helpful.
Oh, okay. So this won't affect okay.
It affects it as much as you guys actually bother to remember it.
Yeah, I thought that if I filled this out wrong, it was just gonna freak out at me.
Oh no, you can put anything in this. Here, allow me to show you how much you can put anything in this.
Can you just max it out to 99?
Other.
Alright, 5 rules. I see how it is.
My Xander's guide's not loading. Why?
Alright, see, you can put anything in this, including the whole, what the fuck did you say about me, you little bitch? I'll have you know I graduated top of my class in the Navy SEALs and have been involved in numerous secret raids on Al-Qaeda and I have over 300 confirmed kills. You can put anything in this.
And it just keeps
Okay,
going.
sounds good.
No, this sheet doesn't... If you guys start tampering with the macros and the formulae, then yeah, it might bug out. But in terms of the features and traits thing, you can put whatever you want in there, as evidenced by... you think you can get away with saying this shit about me over the internet? Think again, fucker.
That will shit fury all over you.
Yeah. You're fucking dead, kiddo. Yeah, so you can put anything you want. If you want to copy and paste the description of a feature into it, sure. Just know that I will be expecting you guys to know your own capabilities as characters and players. If you guys need to learn something, like, I don't get how sneak attack works, that's fine. Hopefully in due time you'll learn it, but that is the catch. I will be expecting you guys to eventually learn it. I'm not here to describe you guys your own sheet to you. You guys should have at least some involvement in your own character.
Yeah. I remember looking, I remember seeing this before, and I just remembered it now, because I'm looking at it again. It says I can speak, read Common, and one other language of my choice as a racial feat. So I can have 4 languages if I want, because of the intelligence modifier, right?
Correct. Although you will get a number of languages free to your home province anyways.
Oh boy.
And I'm sure you're wondering, does that mean I could just say my home province knows every language? Yes, but then I call you a little min-maxing bitch and probably tell you to get out.
Okay, 1 second, my roommate's knocking on my door.
Okay. You guys are making realistic characters, not characters to win D&D. If such a task is even accomplishable.
Yeah, I was just curious because, I mean, I've said it once, I'll say it again, my character wants to know everything that they can, so the more languages they can know, like,
That's fine.
they will learn as many as they can.
Yeah. I mean, if we can start with... So the Heartlands has a pretty predominant
Present?
interaction and history with dwarves.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not uncommon for people in the Heartlands to know Dwarvish, to some peripheral degree, even as like a, low layman, commoner. If you're a more educated sort, you probably would know more of Dwarvish.
Okay.
So for sensing, people there would know Elvish, even if they're not elves. Not because they actually want to learn it, because then you'd be a real black sheep amidst a flock of wolves. They just know it peripherally. Sort of like how people in my neck of the woods here in Southern California, I know loose degrees of Spanish. I've never taken a Spanish class ever, but I know how to pronounce Spanish things, and I know what not to say to piss off the cashier who is Spanish, or who's speaking Spanish at me. I didn't choose to learn it. It bled into my mind over time. Simple as that.
Yeah.
But this is also D&D.
Okay, I was reading the PDF and it said that my racial traits includes dark vision. Do I change
Correct.
that?
Yes, so anyone that has dark vision loses it, but in replacement of that, go to, if anyone has a copy of it, drop it now. If not, you can go to 5e tools. Xanathars.
How do you spell that?
I got you.
That's
5e
an
tools,
X.
boom. 5e tools, boom. Feet, boom. Boom, boom. Give it a sec, boom, boom, boom. There we go.
A lot of booms going on.
A lot of booms.
Well, good to know.
Boom, boom, boom. So,
Did you send me the link?
there we go.
Are you singing Venga Boys?
Thank you.
Boom.
So, in replacement for your dark vision, you get to pick a racial feat. Only one. You don't get all of them.
Woo!
Racial feats are locked out to, unsurprisingly, race. So, a human cannot grab Dwarven Fortitude. Yeah, hear that, you tall stack, tall pig? Fucking, you trying to take my Dwarven Fortitude? You don't have enough alcohol in your system to carry it. Yeah. So, since you are playing an elf, you can grab, a high elf in particular, you can grab a number of things here. So, drow, high magic, you're not getting that, because you're not a drow. You're an elf, sure, but you're not a drow. But, no one should play a drow. They're a very weird and dark culture. It's actually horrendous. Don't think about it too much. But you can grab Elven Accuracy, which all elves have access to, because it just says elf. It doesn't have parentheses elf wood or elf drow, elf high. And since you're a high elf, you get access to elf high, puff puff. You get access to this feat as well. You pick one. You pick
I'm
one.
gonna pick it, okay.
So I can't have any of them because I'm Tabaxi.
Well, no. So I'm well aware that certain races that came out, it's always Volos, have dark vision but don't have things in Xanathars, because Volos, I think, was printed after Xanathars, so thusly no one really gave a damn about it. So I would give you your choice of two different things. So you're playing Tabaxi? Yeah?
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm trying to remember what I gave my other Tabaxi player back in the day. I say back in the day, it was literally like a few months or 6 months ago. I believe, if I remember correctly, I gave him, it's your choice, you pick one.
Yeah.
Prodigy. So you get one skill proficiency, one tool proficiency, and one language proficiency, and an expertise. What is expertise? Expertise. Remember that proficiency bonus thing we were talking about? How it's a +2? Double it. You double it. Alright? So if I were to get expertise, and yes, this isn't a toggleable thing. If our boy Okioch here has expertise in history, he's suddenly +7 on history. And this gets even more dramatic as you go higher levels. So if I were to make my boy Okioch here 20 level, he has a +15 to history. He occupies 3/4 of the dice on history, because he's just that fucking smart on history. So whatever you get expertise in, it has long-term benefits. So yeah, that's what Prodigy does. It gives you a skill proficiency of your choice, a tool proficiency of your choice. Yes, I use tool proficiency in here whenever we get the fucking chance. It's very rare, but we try. And fluency in a language of your choice. And then one skill that you have proficiency in, you get double the proficiency bonus in, expertise. So you can choose this, or I believe it was second chance. What does it mean? I'm well aware it says halfling. Ignore that. You can increase one of these stats. You don't get all three. You get one. Dex, Con, or Charisma by 1 to a maximum of 20. You get 1. And whenever a creature you see hits you with an attack, so catch, they have to hit you in the first place, so if they miss, this is pointless anyways. You can use your reaction. You only get one reaction a round, so just keep that in mind. There is an action economy in place. You do not have an infinite number of reactions. You get one a round. That's it. One of everything around, unless you go some certain classes. That's besides the point. You can use your reaction to force them to reroll. So, it's handy because it might cause them to miss, it's also really handy because if they crit you and they do double damage on you, you
You're
can
like, nah, never mind.
even
Probably-
if they re-roll and they still hit, they at least won't be doing double damage on you.
Oh.
Very clutch use.
Very clutch use. In fact, it saved many a life before. So
remind me, Crash, for
Okay, so I
ASMR,
have
it was
one
the
question
Prodigy
about-
or Second Chance, yeah?
I believe so as well. Correct. In the case of ASMR, you have Divine Favor following upon you. In the case of Tabaxi, cats have 9 lives.
Hey.
So I have a question.
Correct. Was it?
I'm still thinking about languages. If I were to choose Prodigy, that adds another.
You get
language.
another one on top of it. Correct.
That's
Yeah.
hold on, count going on. That's 6 languages.
The number will change depending on how many languages you decide to grab as from your home province. But yeah, thereabout.
So what do you? So with that, so if I were to grab what you said Dwarvish was the one from the Heartlands. That
Correct.
so
There's a
would
kid.
that be included in the count, or would that be separate from the count, like common is?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like the count is dependent upon how many you begin the number at. So, if I assume your character knows because you're from the Heartlands,
Mm-hmm.
Common, Nevros, Elvish, Dwarvish, and Frajaran, that's 5 to begin with. And that is all plausible for a person from the Heartlands, in theory. Because, Nevros are everywhere. The Heartlands
So
is the
then-
most accepting place in the world. Maybe not the world, but in the provinces. You're next to the exchange. You share territory with dwarves. Elves live here too. You could, in theory, know all these, and I wouldn't even be touching any of the number you get from Prodigy or your intelligence mod or anything. like that.
Okay, so
It's up to you to play fair
yeah.
or play logically. If you decide to put in a shit ton of languages in your character's sheet, I'm expecting somewhere in your backstory that your character spent a lot of time learning languages.
Yeah, that's what I was.
Which means they didn't do a number of other things,
Mm-hmm.
like getting good with a sword, or learning how to talk flirtily. I don't fucking know. That's the beauty of
yes, talk
backstories.
flirtily.
We can decide anything within reason.
Yeah. Okay. So, can you type out all the languages that the Heartland, that someone from the Heartland would, over here?
Whereas over here,
No, like I'm trying to think of the word. Like you said, like you listed 5 languages, and all I got was Dwarvish and Nevros in common. Thank you.
so Frajaran wouldn't be as applicable to people from Western Heartlands. So we'll say, okay, I'm gonna make the joke here now because if I make the joke, it ruins the experience for everyone else. Ah ha ha ha! The Heartlands looks like a cock and balls. Ha 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 ha. So if you're on the
Wait,
sack,
what?
I actually never
I was-
registered that.
What?
my
not-
Wizard crew makes a joke at me all the time.
Oh my god,
looks
yes,
like
it
a
so
cock-
does!
It looks like a cock and balls.
Oh,
Yeah,
someone's
so
drawing
it
it.
looks- so if you're-
Oh my god!
So if you're a Heartlander on the sack, you probably won't know Frajaran because the exchange is over here.
Oh my god, beautiful.
You do or
Yeah.
don't. I didn't hear. Everyone was laughing.
So yeah. So if you're from the western side of the Heartlands, aka the sack, you probably wouldn't know Frajaran because you just don't have as close a proximity towards it. Literally, this is like 600 miles.
Okay.
Right? But that gives you more of a precedent to know Elvish because a lot of elves live in this region here. So that's that you're a bit closer in that regard. It's up to you what languages you want to know. Just know there's a general expectation on how do you know these languages? Because if someone picks, I don't know, Giant, can't imagine anyone in this call that picked Giant. Giants don't live in provincial society. In fact, the South, the South in provincial terms means this region. This is the South of the provinces. There are no giants in the South. They got exterminated. So if you went, oh, I know Giant. How? A giant taught me. Really? You found a living giant here in the South, huh? Can you tell me where they are? Just real fast. I just need to report them for trespassing in the South. right? So this has social implication. Where did you learn this language from? If you said, I read a book on giants at the Maestro's Academy, okay, you're a big fucking nerd that has a lot of money, or you're really smart, one or the other. But it makes that more sense versus a giant taught me in the south. It was in the Kaplans. The Kaplans, one of the most civilized and religiously guarded places in all the provinces. Yeah, he was just walking around. Okay, you're probably insane. You think you saw a giant, but you somehow did learn giant. And that is a point. Like, if you guys make misassumptions in your backstory, everyone in the setting will thusly react as on that misassumption that you're wrong. Even if you think in your backstory and mind, oh yeah, it's really cool, that's how it is. The rest of the world doesn't know that, and they also don't give a shit. Oh yeah, I totally met a giant in the capital. He was just walking around. He's best friends with the king. Motherfucker, if anyone gets within a 3-mile proximity of the Gracefall Keep, that would be some shit in the first place. Without getting assassinated. Yeah. So keep in mind the setting you're in and what you're actually putting into the backstory to be... Well, so people around the provinces don't think you're crazy. Crazy or a liar. One or the other.
Yeah, anything I do end up picking, I'll make sense.
So we can just pick. Say, for example, I have about like 5 languages, and what if I just don't want to?
If you don't want to fill out those languages, that's entirely fair game. You don't have to.
Okay.
If you don't think your character would be the sort that would have invested time into learning other languages, that's totally fine. That applies to a lot of people in real life. Right? There's a bunch of smart asses in NASA, but if I ask them how many languages they know, I don't think they would say 15. But then
4.5.
Yeah, if I look at someone like Fred, he's not a NASA scientist, but he knows more languages than them, most likely. There you go, right? Like, it changes from person to person in real life, and so too does it in the setting, in the game. You don't have to know all the languages in the world. You can just be simple, and just be like, I know Common, I know my native tongue. Fuck everything else, I don't have the time or the money or whatever to invest learning in it.
Instruments count as tools, right?
What's that?
Instruments count as tools?
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
Yes, they do, yeah, they do. And there are more instruments than are listed in the book, in my setting. It's just that the book is really simplistic, so they have like only like 7, even though there's like hundreds of instruments throughout history.
Okay.
If it's an instrument up until the Renaissance period in real life, then you can have it, like realistically.
Okay, up until the Renaissance?
Up until the Renaissance. Renaissance.
I'm gonna pretend.
Okay, let me specify. The Italian Renaissance. Because that's when we got guns.
Okay.
No one can tell me otherwise that gunpowder wasn't one of the most impactful developments in all of human history. Fire, gunpowder, and the internet. Those were the 3 biggest ones. Okay, I'll put paper in there too, because fuck it, yeah, paper as well.
Interesting you didn't include like that whole Industrial Revolution at all.
The thing is, it's still is going. It's still going to this day in certain countries.
So is that up until the beginning or the end of the Italian Renaissance?
End.
End? Okay.
Also, the Industrial Revolution doesn't have one particular thing associated with it across its entirety. Steam engines were towards the beginning of it, but then coal engines were towards the end of it, right? So I can't say the Industrial Revolution, which encompasses hundreds of different inventions and innovations. Whereas I could say the development of paper. Paper is paper. Gun is gun. Gunpowder, rather. I guess it was black powder. Bullets go bang. I was actually watching a video last night about muskets. What's up?
Background stuff. Are we adding the equipment listed under the background?
You will, but I will allow you guys to... well, here, I'll just give like a quick preview onto equipment stuff. Equipment stuff is your starting equipment. You can sell any equipment you don't want. You can buy any equipment you want at the market.